Okay, everyone, Jordan Parker here at Direct Flooring with a good friend of mine, a long-term friend, Grace Frank of Grace Frank Group, and here in Chattanooga as well. So if you've been in Chattanooga for any amount of time, you know the name Grace Frank.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And we're here just to kind of, number one, Grace and I to reconnect a little bit, talking about, actually 18 years ago when we first met, and then, our business philosophy as well. And then we'll talk a little bit about flooring and just thoughts that you have, Grace, and things that you'd like to share about the new book. And so this is just our fun time to be together. But I just wanted to start before I talk about I noticed you, of course, you just won the Best of the Best in two categories.
Yeah, two categories.
Number one in it looks like the commercial realtor category 2025, as well as the residential group for Grace Frank Group. So. But that's amazing. So, and award after award, many ahead. So, but what I would like to do is just give a quick testimonial of myself and working with Grace, and then we'll just kind of go into again who Grace Frank is, and we'll connect on these commonalities that she and I have with business. But my testimonial, it actually started in 2007. I had been sent some marketing material through Grace Frank, and she was already working with a couple of team members, and it had to do with investor, how to buy your first investment property. So Grace is so good at every level of real estate, but I know you've been around the investor circuit. It's close to your heart. So I went to this seminar and I learned certain things that I keep to this day, and I just remember it was just a one-day event or one evening event, but it was really impactful, and Grace proved right there that she was a real authority and real well-known in the industry. And your name, even though you had just really started the year prior as far as your real estate experience, in 2006, you said, I think?
Is my license.
As your license, but she'd been in real estate in different areas before then. But in 2007, her name was already out. People knew that Grace Frank was great at everything real estate. So she helped me navigate through a home, and it was one of those, it was a fixer-upper, and Grace just gave me the best information I could ever get. But more than anything, for me, she took a personal interest in me as a person, number one, but also as an investor and as a small business owner. So there was something about the extra touch. I mean, it meant everything to me at that point, but the extra touch that Grace gave me as a young person just getting started in my first investment property. You gave me a book at the end, a buy and hold book. I just want to give a testament. This is a way long time in coming. I've been wanting to say how much I appreciate you and how you really helped me get started on this journey of real estate, and I've admired her so much over the years with her company and her team. I know you're a big advocate of team, but at this point I'm not going to speak as much. I'd like to know, Grace, who Grace Frank is. And the way I like to phrase that is, what are your hobbies? What are the things you like to do on weekends and time that you get to spend for yourself?
Okay, well, I'm an organic farmer. I have an organic farm. And so I'm a fourth generation farmer, believe it or not.
Wow.
So being on the land, I'm a big advocate of sustainability. Our farm is totally designed after that. We have a very big solar system, a rainwater catchment system. Right now, we have organic duck eggs that we sell at Nutrition World every week.
Great.
And so we have a big passive solar greenhouse, and we do hydroponics. But that's part of Grace as a person. I'm also a writer. I'm actually have 4 books coming out in the spring, children's books.
Fantastic.
That are geared towards teaching children about the environment and values. So that's, on my own, on my private time, I'm also writing books, as well as I love hiking. I'm a big skier. I was a downhill ski racer, so I love to ski, but I love to scuba dive, I love to snorkel. I'm pretty much a big outdoors advocate.
I hear that.
Yeah,
And Chattanooga, and I know you're
yeah.
such an advocate for Chattanooga,
I am.
obviously.
I'm a big cheerleader for Chattanooga.
This is a good place for you,
Yeah.
and we're so glad you're here. Were you originally from Chattanooga? I couldn't quite remember.
No, I grew up in the Midwest.
Okay.
We moved here from Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
So, but I've been here since 2006.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so I was so glad to meet you right as you came to Chattanooga. That's great. So we talk about, of course, and that's, I'm an outdoors person too. On a different level. I'm not as active as you are, and I don't get my fingers in the dirt quite like you do. But I will say you made a mark on me. Because I remember showing you and telling you about our company here at Direct Flooring back in 2007. And one thing you said, we had, at that point, I was working out of my home. I didn't have any warehouse, but what I was doing is cutting small mats and rugs in the basement of my home. And you had said kudos for doing such a green effort where you're not wasting and throwing away material.
Right.
And I knew you had a real heart for the green building and just making sure the environment is loved.
Oh, it's very important.
So important.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, of course, our interests, our hobbies, tell me, and how it's kind of the same side of the coin, but your passion, and how do you take your passion into your real estate and your work and all that you do with real estate?
Well, I try to align myself with clients that have that same passion. Right now we're doing an amazing project called the 3 Gorges, which is a sustainable community. 5-acre lots, small kind of community living, which is very exciting. It's very sustainable. It's going to be the first community in Tennessee that has a solar farm in the community, which is exciting. So, and when I interact with people, I really try to get them to understand that sustainability is important, no matter how little it is, whether it's recycling or thinking about how you're going to redesign your home or create a new home or your commercial building. The more you can minimize your footprint on Mother Earth, the better.
I love that.
Yeah.
There was an old principle or saying, and I think the Boys and Girl Scouts, where it said, "Leave it better than you found it."
Exactly.
When you're out in an environment
That's how I was raised.
I love it. Oh, that's a great way that you and I just connected, and I've always seen that again in what you've done. And I'll even say one step further. It feels like the impact that you make on reaching out and doing these projects, both new builds as well as listing homes that are already built. You're always trying to protect the market, not the ecology, but the market also. It's always the idea that you don't want people to race to the bottom to get a result. You want people to understand their options. And but I've really again, I've seen that about you. When we talk, the Gorges, talk a little bit more, because I actually saw one. I saw it on your Facebook page, and it was beautiful pictures, and it looked like it had some community settings.
It's a 49 lot community with over 320 acres. People will be able to climb in the community, be able to hike in the community, be able to mountain bike in the community.
Wow.
So it's like really living the adventure at home.
Wow.
So it's really great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all that can be seen, of course, on the Facebook, Grace's Facebook page. So the passion, again, that you've brought into real estate, talk about your team, because one thing, when I analyzed your Facebook page, and here at Direct Flooring, we talk about team and how we train our team members to be their best, to grow with us as a company. But I noticed one thing that just came to surface as I was looking at your page. You're big with team. tell me how do you see team? How do you build team? And how do you do what you do at the Grace Frank Group as a team?
Well, I have a very unique team. I've never believed in the standard real estate team.
Okay.
I really feel it's important that every agent create their own business, and you do things on your own, and you do things as a partnership. So I really encourage them to become strong individual agents.
Okay.
I really work to help them learn about marketing, social media, negotiations, and really understand that they're building their practice. They're on a team, but they're building their practice. And so as a team, the stronger we are as individuals, we're stronger as a team.
I love that.
So that's always been my approach to teams. You know, I was in sports my entire life. I did individual sports, but I also did team sports with track and swimming. And so, you know, the combination of being on your own, but also being with a team and realizing that as a team you're better if you work together and you have a good relay. And, you know, that's part of it, is we all have our strengths, and sometimes I'm better at the finish line. Sometimes I'm better at the start. So I work different times with different team members to make sure that at the end we have a success.
That makes sense. You're going toward the same goal, the same mission, the vision, and you're doing it with the stamp of your brand.
Quality.
That's
integrity.
That's right.
And service.
I love it. I love it. We at Direct Flooring, we're also, I mean, it's interesting how realtors are, in a sense, become their brand.
Oh, it is.
And you know, it's you or your brand, but your brand is you. I mean, it's very, again, it's very congruent. And we do the same thing. We have our mission and vision, and we're always looking at how does Direct Flooring get to that, like you just say, that quality, that integrity, that customer, that satisfied customer, but not just for today, but for years, for years. That's one thing I actually wanted to speak of, and you and I think, can relate here. I know we can. So I've been in business 20 years, you've been in business longer, but you know, to be in business 20 years, to see the economic ups and downs of real estate and of the economy, what is that? How does that make you and I different as companies? How does that help us understand, again, how to tough out those times?
Well, I've always worked with investors as my basis, my foundation. When good times are good, investors are selling, and when good times are bad, investors are buying.
Makes sense.
So it's always been a big bucket of mine.
Right.
But I've always had like 5 or 6 buckets, and I work them. Economies are different at different times. I think it's about your outlook on life, though. There's always an opportunity.
Always.
My grandfather always told me there's always an opportunity, even in the worst times. There's an opportunity if you look at life that way.
That's right.
So I have always looked at, okay, maybe this is a little quiet right now, but there's this opportunity over here, and I'm going to focus on it. So, you know, that's the goal. The goal is, where is the opportunity to bring that to the forefront for people to understand more about how they can take that opportunity and do something with it.
I love that.
So that's really, really important.
It all, in a sense, comes down to that personal responsibility.
It is.
What, you know, do you have that vision of what you're hoping to do, and are you willing to take on that weight and have the faith? I've learned one thing is, sometimes, I mean, especially as you're starting, and you'll know, I mean, when the new and younger, new to real estate realtors come in, you know, their idea, it's not easy from the get-go. I mean, it takes that time to understand, you know, what it takes to establish yourself and to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. We try everything here at Direct Flooring of course, we try to write the training to imbue everyone with as much confidence and as much strategy as they can have, but it's also, at the end of the day, what are they willing to shoulder? Because nowadays, with computers and the internet where it is, you couldn't do this when I was first starting. You couldn't just go on Google and find the whole list of builders in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and
or ask ChatGPT.
That's it. And investors, you couldn't find the whole list. And now there's investor meetups. I've seen you at the investor meetups from a distance. You're very active. You're very active there. And yeah, I wanted to also get back to when you say investor. So you're diversified because you deal with commercial, you deal with residential, and you do such a great job at all segments of the real estate world. But investor is close to your heart, and we here at Direct Flooring, we have different divisions per se. We have retail, which is the people mostly that walk in the door, and homeowners, but then we have builder divisions where we have to market specifically for them, and remodelers and realtor. We even have a realtor division. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. But what I've trained our staff to do is you've got to be able to think like an investor. You got to be able, you've got to talk the lingo, but more than anything, it's got to be right here. You got to, you're not just saying it to try to fit in. You know how they think, how they feel, what their opportunity. So you tell me about, you have a background in being an investor before the real estate.
That's how I got into real estate, was investing in real estate. So primarily buy and hold, but I did a lot of flips. And so I like commercial and residential from an investment standpoint. We're focusing a little bit more on commercial now than residential. Our farm is a cash flow property for us. We actually do farmcations and have small tiny homes and things like that are either used for short-term or mid-term rentals, which I think are very fun and exciting. But I've always felt, my grandfather taught me something at a very young age. There's only one time you make your money. It's when you buy.
That's right.
If you don't buy well, you can't sell well.
That's right.
So I always tell everybody that you make your money when you buy.
Sure.
Not when you sell, but when you buy.
I like that.
So that has always been embedded in my head from a little girl, along with make it better than when you came. So those two things are what are at the core of my business.
I love it. Yeah. And I love your grandfather's sayings. And you know what I mean? And we keep kind of going back to, who, that's why I started the question of who is Grace Frank, because you have designed your business, it feels, to integrate your passions.
Oh, absolutely.
You're passionate about your team, and it shows. And you're passionate about investors. You're passionate about your buyers and your sellers. I mean, you understand how to really. And your farm is even an investment. So I mean,
it's a big investment.
So everything works together. When we talk about investment, and I'm going to flip to a little bit of flooring now. When we talk about investment, one thing that I had always learned when it comes to flooring, but when it comes to home remodeling, is use the paint colors that are going to be more suitable for not just you, but for who knows, someone else down the road, 5 years, 10 years, you never know how long you might be at this property before you want to sell or purchase another property. Same thing with floors, find that floors that are going to be right for you, not just you, but use that investor mindset that down the road, you put down that product, it's going to look great 5, 10 years from now.
Well, we have a perfect example. The first time out at our farm, we did a barn and minimum, and we had we did our own little project with our luxury vinyl flooring, and it didn't work. So we called you in to say, hey, we need you out here. So I've always focused on resale.
Sure.
For no matter if my own stuff, a buyer, a seller, I always say resale.
Right.
You have to focus on resale because you don't know what's ever going to happen.
Love it, yeah.
You can say this is my forever home, but you can never say that.
That's right.
So anytime you're going to do something, you always have to say, is this the smartest thing for resale?
I like that.
So you have come out to our personal property. I've given you a lot of clients that needed your guidance and assistance. But I've always said to people, focus on resale.
Yes.
And so when a job's not done well, direct flooring has to come back and redo it.
Well, and I hate to, yeah, we do, and we're a phone call. Thank you, and we're always a phone call away.
And you're very cordial about saying why it wasn't done correctly, and now here's what we're going to do to correct it. So
well, and we try really from the get-go. We were always trying to steer that customer to say, hey, you know, this is for your application or for whoever's application. We want to make sure we're going to, of course, steer you the right way, get you both the right product and the quality installation, and also to speak about being in business for decades now, both of us. That's a great thing to know, that when you're established, we're going to be here for you.
Absolutely.
We're not just here today. We're not just trying to make a sale. Grace Frank has clients that she's known for, like myself, for 20 years.
I've seen their kids grow up.
That's right. And she, I know, again, you're passionate about that, you know, you want to always be just part of the community in that way as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll mention as far as the floors, and as far, well, you tell me actually, Grace, what type of, when we're talking about floors for resale, what type of design trends are you seeing in the flooring industry or in the real estate industry when it pertains to floors?
It's really fascinating. You know, 2 or 3 years ago when builders were starting to put luxury vinyl flooring in, people are like, it's a cheap way out. And I'm like, well, no, not really. Sure. And it's really about where your property is and what the functionality needs to be.
Right.
Because a really quality high-end vinyl is better for pets.
It is.
You know? So it's all about the quality that you put down. And I've seen some luxury vinyl that I literally had to get on the floor and make sure that it was not wood.
Right.
So there's some great products now that are out there, and I think wood versus luxury vinyl is a real big question for a lot of people. Some people don't want to do luxury vinyl, they only want to do wood, and I get it.
Yep.
I think it really depends on the application. At a farm, I wouldn't have wood.
That's right. That's right, yes.
You know, at the beach, I wouldn't have wood.
That's right.
You know,
moisture, humidity, tracking, and everything.
It just really depends on the application.
Right.
But luxury vinyl has become a lot more prevalent. People are more adapting to it.
Yes.
Particularly the higher end that literally when you have to get down and see,
that's right,
is this wood or is this vinyl? So I love luxury vinyl. I think it's so much more practical for living, cleanup, just day to day, you know, keeping it up. But that's just my preference.
Right.
You know?
Well,
but I live on a farm.
And well, no, that's perfect. And I love, because you know what, you live on a farm, but families today seems like more active than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, they live, play, scratch, do everything.
Exactly.
They're doing everything on their floors. But you took the words out of my mouth when it comes to trends. I mean, luxury vinyl, but a nice quality luxury vinyl, a high quality. Luxury vinyl is technology under your feet, so it improves even compared to 5 years ago. What we're seeing now in the market is phenomenal. It's going to be more insulated, it's going to be thicker, it's going to look more realistic. And it's more cleanable and more, in a sense, longer lasting because you don't have to worry about the variables of humidity and moisture.
Right.
And another thing I'll say about the trends, and I again appreciate you telling me what you're seeing and how you feel, because I didn't ask you this beforehand.
No,
so it's great to.
I do a lot of open houses on new construction.
Sure.
And I use them to mystery shop buyers.
Smart.
To see, what they're saying about products and what they see and what they don't like. So I can go back to builders and say, hey,
that's right,
this is what I'm seeing, this is what they're telling me.
Right.
So we need to think about that in the future.
Sure.
So open houses are a great way to mystery shop buyers.
Well, and you learn all of these techniques when you're around the business and you're trying to get all the information. That's one thing, and we'll have to get to that. Grace is so big. She's such an advocate with teaching and educating, which is I mean, I just think phenomenal. It's an incredible way to meet people and to just get a great result when you're working with someone. But when we're talking about back to the floor side, is the luxury vinyl again nowadays has been so good, and the idea that you can have a floor that's waterproof, scratch proof, pet resistant. The pets were the big thing, the big one. But also, Grace, I don't know if you know this, but even compared to 5 years ago, so the pandemic, if you look at the sales of luxury vinyl, I mean, the sales have gone up every year anyway in the industry, but the pandemic was a time that people were actually, of course, afraid of any issue when it came dirt and debris and they wanted cleanliness. And the idea that the luxury vinyl was more of an encapsulated, I mean, hardwood to some extent is, but it can also get ingrained dirt and mildews. But yeah, the luxury vinyl. Mold, absolutely.
Mold is a huge one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. We have people don't realize how much humidity we have in our area. And there's and we have so many underground
I saw your crawl space video, so I was Mr. Burrell, I think.
So,
Very
I mean,
good.
the key is that I think luxury vinyl is a lot more healthy than
That's
a
the
lot
word.
Than a lot of other floorings.
It is. And I'll give you one other example of what we saw or what I saw in the industry that relates, and I want you to have this too as a thought. So at first, when luxury vinyl started becoming so predominant 5 years ago, we said, well, the young generation are going to really take to this because they're going to understand the technology side.
Right.
And they're not going to be as traditional as the quote unquote older generations where they say hardwood is what I want. Like you say, some people, they still want hardwoods, and that's fine. But what happened was quite an interesting thing. So yes, the young generation, the 30s and 40-year-olds, they were gravitating toward LVP. Well, what also happened, it took about a year or two to stagger. All of a sudden, the older age generation, they said, we're interested now. And the idea was, it was the lowest maintenance floor. People who had been in a home long enough had experienced some sort of flooring moisture issues, and they said, we want a floor that is going to look great for the rest of our lives, and that we can put all the way, including the bathrooms, no transitions. Even if they're in a wheel device, they can navigate. So it was an interesting thing, Grace, in the market, and I'll end with this part that we've seen in the flooring market. Vegas is our big show in the flooring end. It's the TISE show, and I never have gone in the past, and I said, I'm going to go this year because I want to be able to tell everyone what are the trends. It's important for me as a business, just like you go to your events, and it's important to me to be able to tell people this is what I'm seeing as the trends. Well, the trends are in two places. They're showcased in Vegas, but they're really down in Dalton, Georgia also.
I was going to say.
The carpet capital.
I was going to say, that's probably the best showcase you could ever have.
It is. And what you'll see at both places is that the idea that LVP is king. And that gives you a glimpse into the future, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Dalton is kind of the fashion industry like LA is for fashion industry. Dalton is for the flooring industry, I always like to say. So it's a forecast of the future. But when I went to Surfaces this year, it was unbelievable. And the new trend now is exactly what you said, it's the thicker qualities and even the wider planks. So I just wanted to show, some of the wider plank wood, LVP woods here. They're going to lay down beautifully. They're going to give you the full wearability as even a hardwood, and they're going to look great at a fraction of the cost. We still love hardwoods.
Yeah, well, they're still there.
They're still there. They're still traditional. Carpeting, I think, for the bedrooms is what you usually. So if you use carpet,
I don't carpet anything.
Okay.
I mean, I guess here's how I look at it. I'm not OCD, but I like clean floors. And so I sweep every morning. That's part of my religion in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And I look at it every morning, what I sweep off of my luxury vinyl floors, thinking that could be going into carpet. I'm not a big advocate of carpet.
I understand.
Because I like to know where the dirt is, and I don't want it to be still somewhere in the house.
Yes.
So.
Well, and you and many people share that hesitation
But I love
and that
carpet,
concern.
but I don't like carpet.
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick idea on carpet because I took a stroll down memory lane. So of course we offer carpet at Direct Flooring. Bedrooms mostly, if you're going to use them. Sometimes basements and sometimes upstairs bonus rooms for the noise buffering effect, for the comfort. So carpet, the stroll down memory lane, and I think this has kind of happened with carpet too, Grace, is that just like any product, there's a large variance. There's the what we used to call the builder grade that was a very thin.
It was terrible.
Remember back in the 2000s, early 2000s?
It was terrible.
It was so thin. And then, nowadays builders are putting in, if they're using any carpet, they're putting it a little bit better than what it used to be. But there is a large variance. So some of the carpets will be either tufted products or a little bit more soil resistant, a little bit less of an issue when it comes to embedding the dirt. And my grandfather was big in the carpet industry. So my early memories from him, and he was my teacher, my grandfather in Dalton, Georgia, was the living room, being in his living room, and it was carpeted. And I know we both think that now, like, oh, who has that? It's usually hard surface in a living room. But, there are carpets that can do well, especially, I guess the one other comfort factor, bedrooms comfort and warmth. The other factor, and this was something that we still see in some assisted living centers, carpet is more cushioned, so it's a little bit easier on the joints, going up steps. And again, there are some advantages. Price when you're doing remodels is an advantage. I have a thought to put by you. One thing I wanted to do is a quick guide, meaning that there's 4 categories of flooring for the most part. And they go up in a little bit of a step ladder. There's carpet, which is your least expensive. LVP, which is waterproof flooring. Engineered hardwood, and then hardwood. And one reason I wanted to put this together on such a clear and easy to follow form is that, I'm showing it here, but the price points would go and this is installed, $3 a square foot for carpet, $5 for LVP installed. Behind you is an engineered hardwood, and that would be $7, and then $9 for a solid hardwood.
That really helps a lot of agents, because a lot of times when you're looking at a property and somebody doesn't like this or that, or you're listing a property and you're trying to figure out, well, I would suggest not redoing it, but to get an allowance.
That's what I was hoping you would say.
And because everybody has their own taste. Like, don't put in granite countertops from Formica, give an allowance and let them do it. Same with flooring. Those 2 things are huge, just to give an allowance for somebody else to handle it. And at closing or after closing.
Having that knowledge, having that right there where a trusted company, Direct Flooring, can get it done for this. I think where it can, and by the way, we would offer the service of even putting it, of course, on our letterhead and saying that this is our estimate without whether, if we see it, we can say this is the exact estimate. But even off of pictures, if you say I'm looking at 600 foot of LVP, and I say, well, the turnkey is 5, and we're happy to present that because it's $3,000 to get that done. We do a lot of prep to sell with what I call prep to sell with realtors. The 2 areas that we really work with realtors are when they're trying to sell a property, but also when someone moves in the property and they have an inspection period and they're trying to get it looked at so they can get an accurate estimate, so they can get the work lined up. But going back to, again, having that idea of price point, where I think it can be an issue is quite the opposite. If you don't know the price point and you then have either the buyer or the seller start dictating you know, this costs $12,000.
Right.
When direct flooring will say, no, we can do a high quality LVP for $3,000.
And I've made that very clear to my clients.
Good.
I'm like, okay,
Good.
I'm like, no, get your quote from direct flooring because you're going to have the best value bid.
Thank you. Thank you. And that I want to continue to offer for you. I mean, and your group.
But it's true.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's true. I've seen it over and over.
Great. Well, and again, I want to be literally a phone call or text away. If there's ever a question, our team here, again, we talk about the team. I want our team to be a resource for the Grace Frank group and team. So thank you, Grace.
Oh, you're
thank you for
welcome.
that. So I want to say the education piece is really where I met Grace. I went to one of her investor seminars back in 2007. And again, the teachings that she taught me were really, to this day, I take to heart for investing in real estate. And I have the book that she gave me, and we just had this wonderful experience working together, Grace and I. But the education is where Grace, I think, really does a lot of work and effort. Mm-hmm. So Grace, you just wrote a book.
I did.
And I'd love to hear more about it. And
So it's a good book. It's called Secrets for Sellers.
Okay.
Secretsforsellers.com is our website, but it's also on our main website. But it's kind of an action-packed chapter book about different things when you're thinking about selling that you should think about. It's not necessarily about price. It's about focusing on what makes your property stand out. But guess what my favorite chapter is?
something about the dogs. Yes.
Why your dog wants me to help you sell your home.
I love it. I love it. Oh, well, the pets are the family.
Yeah,
so
they
no.
are.
And I've heard about this because, again, on your social media, you'll speak some on secretsforsellers.com.
Right.
And do you just go on the website?
Yeah.
Is it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can request the book and we'll send it to you, or I'll bring it. If you're thinking about selling your home, I'll bring it out and preview your home and give you a free copy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I wish you so much luck with
Thank
that,
you.
Grace. And again, from my heart, and as a small business owner to another small business owner, as you've helped me so much through the years, I thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.